Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to our Tuesday evening Bhagavad Gita discussion. So, and it's been a long break. We have finished chapter 8 in our Tuesday classes, and we're going to start chapter 9. In our regular Saturday Bhakti Vriksha also, we just discussed chapter 9 this past Saturday. So, it's going to be a repeat for some of you, but anyways, in Tuesday classes, we go in a little more detail. So we'll be starting with chapter 9 here today in our Tuesday Bhagavad Gita discussion. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim Yatkripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinim Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, Hare Krishna. So chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita, if some of you who have attended Saturday class also. So chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita is titled as the most confidential knowledge. Okay, and if we see the progression of Bhagavad Gita, the first 6 chapters, they have progression from karma to bhakti. Okay, at the end of chapter 6, Krishna says, Yoginam api sarvesham yat gatenantratmanah. So somebody who is most intimately united with me in yoga is most dear to me. So Krishna has introduced the concept of bhakti yoga. And the last 6 chapter, they are progression from jnana to bhakti. Krishna talk about the modes of material nature, the asuri pravritti, the different faith, and then finally in 18th chapter again conclusion is as bhakti. So first 6 chapter progression from karma to bhakti, last 6 chapter progression from jnana to bhakti, but the middle 6 chapters, they specifically talk about bhakti. So Krishna is speaking about bhakti, the glories of bhakti. And the chapter 12 is titled itself as Bhakti Yoga. And chapter 9 is titled as the most confidential knowledge. Even though it says most confidential knowledge, but that knowledge is about bhakti, the glories of bhakti. So chapter 7, Krishna introduces bhakti with Mai Asaktamana, right? The 7.1 verse, Krishna says, somebody whose mind is attached to me, Mai Asaktamana. And then in chapter 7, Krishna also says, Mam evye prapadyante, is somebody who takes exclusive shelter of me. Mam evye prapadyante. And then 18th chapter, Krishna says, Bhakti is easy. Bhakti is sulabha. Okay, so here Krishna is doing kind of direct endorsement of bhakti. And 828, the last verse of chapter 8, also Krishna says, by practice of yoga, one can attain everything and the supreme. So idam vidhitva, by this knowledge. And what is that knowledge? It is about bhakti. Now in chapter 9, Krishna wants to elaborate further on this topic. Okay, and it is known as the most confidential knowledge. So if we see the overall overview of chapter 9, the first three verses are talking about developing Kevala Bhakti by knowledge about Krishna. So it talk about the glories of this knowledge. And 4 to 10, Krishna's inconceivable relationship with the material world. Okay, and then 11th to 19, Krishna talk about those who understand Krishna in various way, either impersonalists who are foolish, who cannot understand Krishna. They consider Krishna's body to be material. They consider Krishna to be ordinary human being. And then Krishna also talk about Kevala Bhakta, who are Ananya Bhakta. And then in text 15, Krishna talk about the three type of people who are Ahangaropasana, Pratikopasana, and then Vishwarupa Upasana. Okay, Ekatvena, Bahutvena, and Vishvatomukham. And then 20 onwards, text 20 onwards, Krishna talk about Kevala Bhakti is far superior to worship of any other Devi Devatas. So comparison of doing devotion, exclusive devotion to Krishna versus worshipping the other Devi Devatas. And then further, text 26 onwards, Krishna is talking about the glories of Bhakti. And 29, 30, Krishna is speaking about that Bhakti is so potent, Bhakti is so powerful that it can elevate even the most fallen. Sadhu revasa mantavya. So that person should be considered as sadhu, even though somebody by mistake has committed any sinful activity. But if he continues on this process, follows the process of bhakti, he can be purified. Okay, so that is overview of chapter 9. So we know in chapter 7 also Krishna talked about the similar topics. And what are the parallels between chapter 7 and chapter 9? Both starts with the glory of knowledge about bhakti. Both chapter talk about the nature of Krishna, the opulences of Krishna. It talk about Krishna's relationship with this phenomenal world, with this material world. And it also talk about difference between devotees and non-devotees. In chapter 7 also, Krishna talk about the difference in worshipping other Devi Devatas versus worshipping Krishna himself. Now, the difference is in chapter 9, Krishna is giving a deeper understanding of all these topics. He is taking a step deeper into this understanding. And that's why chapter 9 is considered as the most confidential knowledge. Guhyatma. Okay, Guhya Uttama. The topmost in the secrets, most confidential knowledge. So what is Guhya, Guhyatara, and Guhyatama? Guhya knowledge, the confidential knowledge, is knowledge about the soul. Okay, in chapter 2, Krishna spoke about Behino Asmin Yatha Dehe Komaram Yovanam Jara. So that is considered as Guhya knowledge, confidential knowledge. And then chapter 6, by the end of chapter 6, Krishna talked about Guhyatara knowledge. That knowledge is introduction of bhakti. And then Guhyatama is the glories of bhakti, which Krishna is going to speak about in chapter 9. So most confidential knowledge is that Krishna is the supreme lord of love. Okay. So 9.1 starts with idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyami anasuyave. So idam tu te guhyatamam. Now I'm going to speak about the most confidential knowledge. Okay, and impersonalists may argue that guhyatama refers at something higher than the personal aspect. And impersonalists may argue in that way, that guhyatama refers something higher than personal aspect, but there is nothing higher than the personal form of Krishna. So guhyatamam and anasuyave. So if somebody asks Krishna, okay, you are going to speak about this most confidential knowledge, is there a prerequisite? Is there a qualification to understand that most confidential knowledge? So Krishna says, Pravakshami anasuyave. So the qualification to understand that knowledge is non-envious. Somebody who is non-envious is able to understand this knowledge. And the other reason this knowledge is considered as confidential knowledge or the secret of all secrets is this knowledge is not understood by our own endeavor. This knowledge is understood based on the level of our non-enviousness, level of our surrender, and this knowledge is revealed to that degree. So this knowledge is received by revelation, not by our own endeavor, not by our own scholarships. Okay, so what is the significance of using the word that you are non-envious? And Krishna has spoken the similar thing in chapter 4 also. Okay, in chapter 4 also, Krishna said that I am speaking this knowledge to you now because you are my intimate friend and you are not envy. You are devoted to me, because devotion and envy, they are opposite emotions. If we are envy towards somebody, means we cannot be friendly towards that person. So they are opposite emotions. Devotion means we rejoice in Krishna's glory, and envy means we burn when we hear about Krishna's glory. So first of all, here non-envy means non-envy towards Krishna. And generally we have envy towards different living entities or to different personalities. Envy towards Krishna himself, envy towards other people in this world, envy towards other devotees. So when we talk about envy toward other people of this world, it could be for various reasons. Somebody is more wealthy than us, somebody is more powerful than us, somebody is more um, beautiful or handsome compared to us, somebody is more knowledgeable than us, somebody is more in a powerful position, prestigious position than us. So all these different things lead to envy towards other people. So if somebody has envy towards Krishna, that is the highest level of envy. Okay, when we are in competition with Krishna, so if we hear Krishna's glory more, in that case, our envy will increase if somebody is having competition with Krishna. So that's why Krishna does not reveal himself to the envy, because their envy will increase. And in that way, it will increase their misfortune. So it's not that Krishna want to hide himself. It is just to protect those people who are envious towards Krishna, so that their enviousness does not further increase and their misfortune or miseries does not further increase. And then Krishna says, Jnana Vijnana Sahitam. You will receive this knowledge as theoretical knowledge as well as realized knowledge. So what is the meaning of theoretical knowledge and realized knowledge? When we discussed chapter 7, we talked about the knowledge of Krishna's power and sweetness of Krishna. So that is the meaning of Jnana and Vijnana. So understanding Krishna and then also understanding Krishna's sweetness in his various relationships. So we understand Krishna in both ways. A simple analogy is, if we go to doctor and doctor tell us all the different reasons for a particular disease, that okay, for example, if somebody is having some fluid collecting in their body in particular organ, let's say stomach or lungs or something, there could be many different reasons why the fluid may be collecting in that particular organ. Okay, so if doctor tells all the different reasons why fluid can collect, and then he also gives the particular reason why it is happening with you, what is the particular reason why the fluid is collecting in your body or in your particular organ. And after telling that okay, this is your disease and this is the reason why it is happening, and then after that doctor says okay, now my consultation time is over, now you can go. So he had told you the disease, he has told you the symptoms or the particular cause of that disease, but he does not tell you the treatment. Then what is the use? So you understand your disease, the reason why this disease happened, but you don't know how to cure this disease, then what is the use? So jnana vijnana sahitam means knowing everything, knowing the root cause, knowing the disease, the root cause of the disease, and the cure for that disease. So same way, jnana vijnana sahitam, Krishna is telling the knowledge about Krishna along with the practical realizations, how we develop our particular relationship with Krishna. And then further, Krishna says, moksha se shubhat. So what will be the benefit of hearing this knowledge? Moksha se ashubhat. One will get liberated from the miseries of this material life. Okay, and then text 2, Krishna talk about this knowledge further, the glorification of this knowledge as Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Itam Uttamam. So Krishna is talking about again this knowledge being Rajavidya, the king of all knowledge. And it is also to be said the knowledge for kings, because when Krishna told the disciplic succession in chapter 4, Krishna said, I gave this knowledge to sun god Vivaswan, Vivaswan gave it to Manu, Manu gave it to Ikshvaku, and in that way this knowledge was passed down among the saintly kings. So this is Rajavidya, this is the king of knowledge, and this knowledge is also meant for the saintly kings, in the sense people who are in a powerful position, who are in influential position, who can further influence other people. So in that way, this knowledge is passed down. So this is the king of all knowledge. And then Pavitram idam uttamam. This is the most topmost purificatory knowledge. It leads to purification. And pratyakshva avgamam. And it is understood by direct experience. So generally we say knowledge is achieved by hearing from authority, okay, by Shabda Praman. So then what does Krishna mean here by saying that it is understood by direct experience? Because we talked about the three methods of acquiring knowledge. Okay. Sense perception, Anuman Praman, and Shabda Praman. So these are the three methods. So direct experience we say is not the right way, because we cannot understand based on our senses by seeing something, by tasting something, by touching something. So that is not the right method of acquiring knowledge. By our inference, by logical understanding also, we may not come to the right conclusion. So the right method of understanding knowledge is acquiring knowledge is Shabda Praman, hearing from authority. But now here Krishna says Pratyaksha Avgamam. So understood by direct experience. So what does it mean? Okay. So here, what does it mean is it is Anuman when harmonized with Shabda, when with hearing, then it can lead to Pratyaksha. Then it can lead to the direct experience. For example, the story of Narada. In Narada, as a small boy, see earlier Narada, he was a Gandharva. Because of his engaging in the activity of singing the mundane songs, glorifying the worldly people, he was cursed to fall down from his position, and he took birth in a very poor family as the son of a poor maid servant. But when his mother was serving in the hermit of the Brahmanas, the Vedantavadis, they came there and they stayed there for the Chaturmasya. And this small boy, he served these saintly people, and he used to sit there when they were discussing among them. They were doing Krishna Katha. He also sat and he heard from them. He got knowledge from them. And then he also, taking their permission, he ate their remnants. And when these when these Vedantavadis, they were leaving, he asked them that I will also like to join you. They gave him Diksha, they gave him the mantra, but told them, you stay here. still stay with your mother. This is not the right time for you. So he stayed, he received the mantra, he received diksha, he received knowledge from them when he heard from them regularly. And after some time, when his mother died by the snake bite, now he thought it is a good opportunity for me to surrender fully. So he harmonized the Anuman with the Shabda, the knowledge he had received from the saintly people, then to realize, to achieve the actual realization. Okay, so that is when we harmonize the Anuman with the Shabda, it can lead to Pratyaksha. Not that the first direct experience will lead to higher knowledge. So process is still first you hear, then you internalize, then it can lead to Pratyaksha as a direct experience. And Krishna says, Susukham kartum abhyayam. This is very happily performed and it's everlasting. So very happily performed means when we engage in any service, it should be performed in a happy mood. Okay, not with a sense of obligation, not with a sense of grudge. It should be performed happily with happy heart. So service attitude, now for the service attitude, there could be three different categories. Okay, when we want to engage in any service or any devotional activity, there could be three different categories. First one is comfort zone. Okay, so we want to stay in our comfort zone. We want to do whatever we feel comfort, and whatever I can do, I will do. If I can do, then I will do. If I cannot do, then I will not do. Okay, so that is kind of comfort zone. Means comfort zone means, just understand, if you have a capacity to lift 20 pounds, but you keep lifting only 2 pounds. Okay, so that is like being in comfort zone. And then beyond comfort zone comes stretch zone. Stretch zone means we push ourselves little bit. For example, people go to gym, right, for weightlifting, for bodybuilding and all. Now somebody has a capacity to lift 20 pounds, then slowly they start lifting 22 pounds, so a little bit more than what they can handle. Okay, so just stretch little bit. Capacity is to lift 20 pounds, start lifting 22 pounds. So eventually the muscles get strong, their ability increase. Now they can easily lift 25 pounds, so they increase a little bit further, 27 pound now. So slowly, by stretching a little bit, the ability increases. So same way, stretching ourselves for little bit more service, little bit more chanting, little bit more hearing. So coming out of our comfort zone. If somebody keep thinking, oh no, 15-minute reading, that's all, that's enough for me. A 2-round chanting, that's enough for me. So then one just stays in their comfort zone. So we need to stretch ourselves. We start with 2 rounds, then increase to 4, then gradually to 6 to 8. And in that way, we continuously improve on that. And same thing with service. We may come to temple on Sundays as guest. We may come to Bhakti Vriksha in the beginning as guest. And then slowly we start increasing our capacity. We get into the stretch zone. We start taking a little bit service, little bit responsibility. So that is the meaning of coming from comfort zone to stretch zone. And we don't want to get into panic zone. Panic zone is doing too much of a service, okay, too much to do. So one may break down. For example, somebody has a capacity to lift 20 pounds, but they try to lift 100 pounds all of a sudden. You don't have that capacity, but you just overburden yourself. Now that is going to cause too much damage, and one may get too much overburdened or overwhelmed in the process, and they may even just drift away from the process itself. Oh, this is too much, I cannot do this. So one need to slowly, gradually improve, stretch themselves. So here Krishna is saying, Susukham kartum avyayam. This is to be very happily performed, and it leads to everlasting happiness and peace. Now further, text 3, Krishna says, those person who do not have faith in the path of bhakti, Okay, Krishna uses the word in this knowledge, or Krishna uses the word dharma. So somebody who does not have faith in the path of bhakti, in dharma, he will not attain me, and he will continue in this cycle of birth and death. So normally, if we don't put faith in something, then it is very difficult to engage in that activity. Okay, even let's say for medicine. So if we don't put faith in the medicine, then we will not take it, and then it will not cure us. Same way, if we do not take the medicine of bhakti, which Krishna is telling us to take, then we will continue in this material existence. Now, this faith also is not as being faithful or faithless. This is not 1 and 0, black and white. There are divisions of faith. Is the faith also, there is a degree of faith. So there are 3 categories of people we talk about: Kanishta Bhakta, Madhyama Bhakta, and Uttama Bhakta. Okay, so neophyte devotee, then as Madhyama Adhikari and Uttama Adhikari. So their level of faith, their degree of faith is different. And when we practice Krishna consciousness sincerely, we experience purification, we experience pacification, we experience satisfaction, and that will keep increasing our faith. Okay, so when we stay in the process, in the association of devotees who have faith, by staying in their association and by practicing also, it will increase our faith also. And faith could be in many different things. Here, faith can be talked about various things. Okay, first, in the first introductory course, which we talk about the journey of self-discovery, we talk about basic topics. Okay, does soul exist? Does God exist? Who is God? The principle of reincarnation, the principal concept of karma. So people even do not have faith about these basic things first. They don't even have faith in Atma, in existence of God, in karma, in reincarnation. So it first gradually build faith in these basic things, that yes, we are not the body, we are the soul. Yes, God exists. Whatever is happening in this world, sometimes good things happen to bad people or bad things happen to good people. Why does that happen? God is not radical. He is not um, whimsically doing things. So when we hear more and more, when we associate more and more, our faith increases from Kanishta to Madhyama to Uttama stage. Okay, so for Kanishta, they, in the beginning, yes, that faith is there, that Shraddha is there. That's from where we start. Ado Shraddha, Tato Sadhu Sangha. So that small flickering faith is there, or the delicate faith is there, which by nurturing in the association of devotees, by the watering of hearing and chanting, that faith matures. So they may have faith in the process, but they do not have enough strong knowledge about the scriptures. So if somebody who is atheist person or of different faith and come and talk to that person, they may dissuade that person, they may bewilder that person. That person, because he has not strong knowledge about the scriptures, he cannot counter their arguments. His faith may get shattered also by listening to those um, atheistic philosophies, atheistic viewpoints. Now, the Madhyamadhikari, he has strong faith in the process. He has good knowledge about the scriptures. So he may be able to protect himself from such arguments or uh, atheistic viewpoints. So our faith increases gradually with practice of Krishna consciousness as we develop more purification and more satisfaction in the process. So as I earlier said, when we take medicine, we have to have faith in the medicine. Okay, and also take the medicine, not just having the faith in the medicine that okay, I have faith in the medicine, I brought the medicine from the store. but then you have to take the medicine also. Then we recover the health. Same way, we need to have faith in the process and also have faith in the practice. It's not about just saying, oh yeah, bhakti is very wonderful. I have faith in bhakti. But then we have to practice also. Okay. So we have to do those activity which increase our faith. Okay. It may be studying the scriptures more, associating with devotees more. So just like developing the muscles by increasing the amount of weightlifting gradually, slowly. So same way, we have to develop our faith by slowly increasing the study of scriptures, association with devotees more, serving more. And then 9.4 onwards, Krishna talk about his opulences, his inconceivable potencies. So Krishna says this whole world is pervaded by me in my unmanifested form, but I am not situated in this world. So Krishna is now explaining his relationship with this material world. Okay, in chapter 7, Krishna had spoken one very wonderful verse. Krishna says, um, everything is resting upon me as the pearls are strung on a thread. Sutre manigana eva. Okay. So in that verse, Krishna has spoken about that everything is resting upon me. Here in this verse, Krishna is saying that this whole world is pervaded by me in my unmanifested form, but I'm not situated in this world. So how Krishna is present within this world, how this world is manifested by Krishna's or um, pervaded by Krishna's unmanifested form. So Krishna is talking about his various energy in the form of his material energy and spiritual energy. So when Krishna uses the word avyakta murtina, that this world is pervaded by avyakta murtina in the unmanifested form, Krishna is referring to Brahma Jyoti. That Krishna's effulgence, this Brahma Jyoti, is pervaded in this whole material world also. So through that Brahma Jyoti, Krishna is present within this material world, but at the same time, he is not situated in this world. Means Krishna is resting in his own personal abode in the Goloka Dham, in his own personal form. So also when Krishna says all living beings are situated in me, so super soul is the rest of all living entities. And Krishna says, I am not situated in them. This refers to Krishna's transcendence, that Krishna is beyond the material. He is beyond the material nature. He is beyond the modes of material nature. So Krishna is transcendental to the three modes of material nature. So Krishna is present within this material world through his various energies. At the same time, Krishna is not in this material world. So understand with a simple example. So the king is ruling over the kingdom on a particular city, and Krishna, the king pervades the city with his various energies, or he rules that city through his different representatives, okay, through his subordinates. So his subordinate may be present in the city, in the kingdom, to carry out the different affairs. Okay. But the king himself is not present within the city, but he is present in the city through his subordinates, through his various agents in one sense. So same way, Krishna is present within this material world through his various energies. But at the same time, Krishna is beyond this material world. And then further, Krishna says, everything is created by me, yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulences. Although I am the maintainer of all the living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation. For myself is the very source of creation. Now, this may again seem to be contradictory to what Krishna had spoken in chapter 7. In chapter 7, as I gave the example earlier, Krishna uses the word Sutre Manigana Eva. Everything is resting upon me. Here, Krishna is saying, even though everything is created by me, it does not rest in me. Okay, so isn't it contradictory? So, does not rest in me. How to understand this apparent contradiction? What Krishna has earlier said, is it some sort of a mistake? Like sometime we say something and then we say, oh no, I did not mean like this. I meant that. Right? We correct ourselves. But is it something like that with Krishna here? That earlier Krishna said everything rests upon me. Now Krishna is saying it does not rest in me. Is it some mistake here? No. We have to understand Krishna is omniscient. He does not make mistake. He is using this apparent contradiction to take our attention to the higher principle. So what does that mean? So it is to be understood by something called like arthapatti. Okay. If two contradictory statements are made, then it needs a third statement to reconcile the two statements. For example, if I say, I will take any name. Okay. If I say Satish Prabhu, he does not eat anything throughout the day, but his weight is increasing. So it may seem two contradictory statement. One statement says, oh, he does not eat anything in the day. Second statement is his weight is increasing. Then it requires third statement to unify and reconcile the first two statements. So the third statement I say is, oh, he eats secretly at night. Okay. So this statement is not directly mentioned in the first two statements, but it is implied here. Okay, he does not eat anything in the daytime, but his weight is increasing. Means, oh, he is eating secretly at night. Okay, so that will be the third statement to reconcile those. Same way, if we read from different prayers in Bhagavatam, let's say Gajendra's prayer, there one word comes as arupya. Okay, and also at the same time he says ururupya. So arupya means not having form and ururupya means many forms. So again, are these two contradictory words? He is addressing to the Supreme Lord who is arupya, who is not having any form, and at the same time in the same verse he's saying ururupya means you are present in many forms. So how to reconcile these two statements? So it implies the principle that Lord does not have any material form. When we use the word arupya, means his form is not material. He is not having any material form. And ururupya means he has many spiritual forms, that he is present in many spiritual forms. So at literal level, sometimes we just hung up with the meaning. Okay, we get hung up with the meaning. It can just like act as a banana peel. We may slip on that banana peel. If we are not guided by the Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, we can find many philosophical banana peels and we can slip. Rather than seeing it as a sign of, oh, the scriptures are contradictory, we should be very patient and find out the right understanding. So when Krishna here is saying that even though everything is created, it does not rest in me. So Prabhupada explains here that this statement is just like saying the burden does not burden me. Even though everything is resting upon me, I do not feel the burden of this. Okay, it's not resting on me. I'm not burdened by that. So the burden does not burden the Lord. If all living beings are situated in the Lord, does he get burdened? Like in the Greek philosophy, they show the Atlas carrying the globe. His back is bent. He's burdened by carrying that globe. So is it something that sort of picture we portray for Krishna, that oh, Krishna is saying everything is resting upon me, so Krishna is holding everything and now he is burdened by all that weight? No. Even though everything is holding upon to Krishna's energies, Krishna does not get burdened by that. So that is the ultimate meaning of this statement here. By Krishna's energy, everything happens. By his desire, the material energy act and everything is done. So that is the ultimate understanding from this verse. And also Krishna says, I am the maintainer, but I'm not situated in that. So generally when somebody is maintainer of something, one gets caught up by that. Okay? Just like the head of the family. If the head of the family thinks himself that I am the head of the family, I am maintaining this family, then we get caught up in that idea that I am the doer, I am the maintainer, everybody is dependent upon me. Here Krishna saying, I am the maintainer, but I am not situated in that. Means Krishna has created everything, but Krishna does not get attached with anything. Krishna is not attached with that. Krishna allows people to act based on their free will. If we create something, we get attached to that. If you make a painting, okay, and you will get very attached to that painting. You don't want anybody to mess up with that painting, to touch that painting, to put brush on that painting, to change the color or anything. So when we create something, we get attached with that. But here Krishna has created this whole material world, and Krishna has left it to us how we utilize, how we live in this material world without interfering with our free will. So that is the meaning here. Krishna is saying, I am the creator, I am the maintainer, but I am not situated in that. That Krishna does not get attached with this. Krishna stays aloof from that. And now Krishna gives another example or analogy in text 6, where Krishna says, like the air is spread everywhere, but still it is situated in the sky. Similarly, all living beings are situated in me. So this indicates the restriction not on the movement, but on the periphery. That yes, within this material world, everybody has free will to move about anywhere, but they cannot go beyond this material world. The living entity, while they are in the binding situation, okay, as long as they are bound with the three modes, they can move within this material world anywhere, but they cannot go beyond this. Just like the air is spread everywhere, but is it situated in the sky? So Krishna is showing the soul within this material world can move anywhere, but they will be within this material world only. Just like a cow is tied with a rope, can move all around, okay, that pole till the length of the rope allows, but the movement is limited. Same way example of if you take a kind of a oval pot and held it upside down. So the air inside that can move anywhere, but limited to move within that space. So same way the living entity within this material world can move anywhere within this material world. That's why we can move from the lowest planets to the highest planets within this material world. But ultimately we are bound within this material world. And 9.7, Krishna now speak about creation and the destruction aspect. So Krishna says, at the end of millennium, all material manifestation enter into my nature. So that is referring to the destruction which happens at the end of the millennium or at the end of Brahma's day. And then at the beginning of another millennium, Krishna says, I create them again. Same thing Krishna mentioned in chapter 8 also. Okay, text 8.19. How everything is created and destroyed. But now Krishna is taking it at a more personal level. Krishna is saying, I am behind that. Earlier, Krishna mentioned about the material nature, that yes, material nature is created and destroyed again and again. Now, Krishna is saying, I do that. Okay? At the end of the millennium, everything enters into me. And at the beginning of millennium, I create them again. So, And Srila Prabhupada, if you read in the purport, Srila Prabhupada uses this verse to counter the theory of evolution. Okay, theory of evolution says everything gradually evolved from one species to another species to another species. Here, Krishna is saying all species are created at the same time by me. Okay, all the material manifestations, they are created by me, and at the end, they all enter into my nature. So all the species are created at the same time. And further, Krishna explained how this material nature is working under his control by specifically saying, I create that again and again. Okay, it's not that everything is happening by chance in this world or in this material nature. So material nature is working under Krishna's direction. And further, Krishna says, even though I create that, but I do not get entangled. I am detached. All this work does not bind me. Okay, so there are two words used generally, asakta and asakta. Asakta means attached. Asakta means detached. So Krishna says, I am asakta from this material world, even though I create it again and again. This work does not bind me. Krishna remains detached, just detached like a judge. Krishna does not have a personal agenda against somebody that, oh, you defy me and I will put you to suffering. Krishna says there is law of karma. I have created this law of karma which take care of things. I do not interfere with that. As a person is acting based on that, they will be punished or rewarded. So point to understand is when, let's say, somebody puts a house on fire, the house is burnt, and if few people are also burnt in that fire, then the person who has put the house on fire will be liable for punishment, right? Here Krishna is saying, I destroy this whole material world. Krishna is saying, I destroy everything. It is just not a single house, not a single city, not a country, not one planet, the whole material creation. So one may say, okay, if somebody burnt a house or just destroyed one house, he is liable for punishment. So doesn't Krishna get any reaction? Is Krishna not liable for any action? No. Krishna is saying, I am not bound, as everything is happening in due course of time. I am the creator, I am the maintainer, and I destroy everything at the end. In due course of time, everything gets destroyed. Example is a prisoner is sent to jail and he is suffering there. King is not responsible for that. The prisoner is sent to jail because of his own action, his own wrongdoing. So same way all living entities are in the material world due to their own actions, their own desires. Krishna just has set a particular system. He has just created this material world just like a prison house, and the living entities have chosen to come there based on their actions and based on their desires. He has not forced us to get into that system. So this material world is just like a correction center. Okay, so Krishna says, I create this, I destroy this again and again, but I am not liable for anything. I do not get bound by anything. And finally, text 10. Okay, Krishna is speaking about very wonderful verse which is very often quoted. Here Krishna says, Maya Dhyakshena Prakrati Suyate Sacharacharam Hetunanena Kaunteya Jagad Viparivartate. So this is a very frequently quoted verse. Under my supervision, this material nature is working. Okay, so Krishna has talked about maintenance of this material world in text 4 to 6. He has talked about the creation and destruction in 7 to 9. Now Krishna is saying, I am the overseer. This material nature is working under my direction. Even when he is present within, he is still above because he is not caught in the material consciousness. So we talked about that last time when we talked about the different energies of Krishna. What are the different energies of Krishna? External energy, internal energy, and marginal energy. Okay. Baharanga Shakti, Tathastha Shakti, and Antaranga Shakti. So external energy is this material nature, which is through which Krishna is facilitating the creation, maintenance, and destruction of this material world. That is external energy, which is we call as Maya Shakti. And then internal energy is Krishna's internal potency through which Krishna maintains the spiritual world, his various forms. And then marginal energy is the living entity, the jiva. All of us, we are the living entity, the marginal energy of Krishna, tathastha Shakti. And the living entity can choose to be in contact with the external energy or in contact with the internal energy. When we are in contact with the external energy, then we are bound in this material world. We are under the influence of the three modes of material nature. And when we put ourselves in the care of internal energy, then we are considered in a liberated stage. As we move from the influence of external energy to internal energy, even though within this material world still, the person is considered to be in a liberated stage. So now when Krishna is saying here, this material nature is working under my direction, and how does it correlate with the devotees? Sometimes we think, oh, it's very difficult to deal with the nature, the way the things are happening. So we should understand that Krishna is always with us. Okay? Ultimately, this material nature is working under Krishna's direction. For the ordinary people, Krishna is neutral. Okay? He does not get involved. But for the devotees, Krishna takes special care. He gets personally involved. He is there to help the devotees. For the karmis, for materialistic people, they want to act independently to fulfill their desires, to fulfill their fantasies. So Krishna does not interfere and waiting for them to turn towards him. Whereas for the devotee who are now turning towards Krishna, then Krishna takes special interest in them also. Krishna also take charge of them. So Krishna also start taking a special care. Okay, so here Krishna is saying, Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. So text 4 through 10, Krishna is speaking about his inconceivable potencies of creating this material world, maintaining this material world, destroying this material world, and being the overseer, not getting entangled with anything. As we know more about Krishna, we know about more of Krishna's opulences, his powers, our faith in Krishna increases, which help us to take next step towards Krishna, to engage in this process of bhakti. Okay, so all this description of the inconceivable potencies of Krishna is to increase our faith. Because Krishna said, right, text 3, that the persons who do not have faith in me, who do not have faith in this process, they just get entangled in this material world. They cannot go beyond this material world. They get bound in the cycle of birth and death. Then, okay, Krishna, how to increase faith in you then? And that's why Krishna is speaking this knowledge about his inconceivable potencies. And then text 11 onwards, now Krishna will speak about people who are atheistic mentality people, or who are non-believers in him, who consider Krishna as ordinary person, ordinary human being, and versus those people who are ananya bhakta, kevala bhakta. So what is the difference in them and what is the difference in their destination? So that we'll discuss in the next session. Okay. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Let's see if anybody has any questions, comments.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I have a question. So what did you mean by direct experience? Like I didn't understand what was that.
Direct experience means our realizations. So it is not about just gaining a theoretical knowledge, but this theoretical knowledge, when we hear and when we practice, it will lead to some direct experience, direct realizations also. Okay, so that is
Oh,
the
okay.
meaning. That when we understand our direct kind of as a relationship with Krishna, developing our relationship with Krishna.
Okay, okay. I see. Also, like you were kind of saying that about stretching and increasing faith in Krishna consciousness. So I was just wondering what actually inspires us to be very sincere in Krishna consciousness. Is it karma? Because like we might have faith, but like what drives us to practice it sincerely is something that I wanted to understand.
Okay, interesting question. Nice question here. So, what drives us to become more and more serious? Understanding the nature, the futility of this material world. When we get that clear understanding, okay, this material world is full of problem. I understand that, and this is not my real home. This is not my real place. As Prabhupada says, this place is not for a sane man. We get out of this place. So when we understand that we are not meant to be here, we are prisoners, and we need to engage in Krishna consciousness, we need to develop our relationship with Krishna, then we try to become more and more determined and enthusiastic in that.
Okay. Something
Understand
like we
urgency,
desire.
basically understanding the urgency, right? Understanding the why. So
Okay.
your question is also how I become more enthusiastic, how I become more serious. Question goes back to why I need to become more serious, why I need to become more enthusiastic,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
True. Yeah.
if I understand, okay, this is my only hope now. I have got this human form of life. This is my only hope within this lifetime. I want to get the perfection of life. So when that why is strong, then we will be automatically becoming more and more sincere and determined in that process.
I see. So it's not like so for some people it might be easy and for some it's hard. Everybody have to like go through the same thing, right? I mean, I
Yes.
was just wondering if it's because of karma. I wasn't
No,
sure.
it's
Yeah.
not because of karma, as I mentioned earlier, right? Bhakti, we have come to this process of bhakti, not because of our some previous karma that oh, we had done some pious activity, some sukriti, that's why we came in bhakti. Piety does not lead to bhakti.
Mm-hmm.
Piety can help us to maybe come in association of devotees, but bhakti gives bhakti.
Okay. Okay.
People who have bhakti in their heart, they can impart bhakti.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
मांड भ्रमिते कोनो भाग्यवान जीव गुरु कृष्ण प्रसाद पाए भक्ति लता बीज. So we have been wandering in this material world from many lifetimes because of our various karma, various activities. And with Krishna's grace, we come in association of devotees, in association of Guru. And because of the association of Guru, we try to understand Krishna better. And so the devotees, they impart, they plant the seed of bhakti in our heart.
Mm-hmm.
And now
Right.
if we nurture that seed of bhakti, then this bhakti matures.
Okay. Okay. So it's more of our understanding, our own understanding of the urgency, like you said.
Yes, yes. So
Okay.
somebody who has taken to this understanding that yes, there is, I have tried everything, there is no rasa in this material world. There is suffering and suffering only. And whatever Bhagavad Gita is saying, what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, that's really true. That is the direct experience. That okay, I have
Okay.
taken that
Mm-hmm.
direct experience. I accept this. I have complete faith in this. What Krishna is saying, that no matter what we try to do in this material world, ultimately it leads to misery only. Krishna says in chapter 5
Mm-hmm.
also.
Right, right, yeah.
So when that experience is there, we have direct experience of that equipped with this knowledge, and we understand that yes, all the saintly people, all the exalted devotees, all the Mahajanas, they are everybody saying the same thing, that we are chewing the chewed in this material world. There is no happiness, and the real happiness is in relation with Krishna. He is the source of all the bliss.
Mm-hmm.
I want to develop my relationship with Krishna to really get that happiness, that bliss.
Okay. Okay, I get it now. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
But I do
Yeah.
have like a couple more questions, but I think somebody can go first. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah. Let's see if somebody else has any question.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Rajaprabhu.
Prabhu, like Shiva is in charge of a destroyer. So, is that correct understanding? And what is there any other position for Shiva other than devotee of Krishna?
Yeah. So, see, the general understanding, what we say is God, God, as the generator, operator, and destructor. Okay. So he is creating this material world, and he's operating or maintaining this material world, and ultimately he destroys this material world. And even though there are three representatives to do that task in the form of Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, Brahma is considered as creator, Vishnu is considered as the maintainer, and Lord Shiva is considered as a destructor. But ultimately they are all appointed by the Supreme Lord, right? They are given particular positions by them. Brahma is considered as a creator, but he's not the independent creator. Okay, he is a secondary creator. Somebody is creating the elements of creation, and Brahma takes those elements and further does the secondary creation. Okay, so same way Lord Shiva, he is in a position of as the destroyer. He is appointed in that position, and he is given with that power to act in that role. Okay, just like the CEO, he hires the various department heads, and they are given particular powers to run their business, to run their department. Okay, so somebody is a head of the finance department, but the CEO has the ultimate power, who is giving that power to the finance department head to run the affairs of the company. Okay, so same way, yes, Lord Shiva is appointed as the destroyer of this material world, but he is appointed by somebody, and he is awarded those powers to execute his task.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay, anybody else has any question? Or we can come back to Ridhanya Mataji.
Prabhuji, also I wanted to clarify, like when we mean purifying ourselves, what are we actually purifying? Our senses and desires, or like I just know that to go back home, we need to have a service attitude, but I really don't understand what are we actually purifying.
So what are we purifying? Anybody want to answer? What are we trying to purify? Purifying our existence. And when we say purify our existence, what does that mean? Right now we have so many contaminations. Contaminations in the form of wrong desires, contaminations in the form of these vikaras, which we call as lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, illusion. Okay, so unwanted things, the unnecessary burden which we are carrying along with us. And to go back to the spiritual world, we have to pass through a door through which nothing else can pass through apart from the spirit soul. We cannot carry any baggage with us. So when you go to the flight, when you board the flight, there is a certain amount of luggage which is allowed. that okay, you can carry only one personal item or something. Yeah, you cannot carry your big suitcases. You have to check in those big suitcases. So here in this case, when we are entering to board the Vaikuntha airline, in Vaikuntha airline, there is no extra baggage allowed. Only the living entity can enter without any baggage. So means no baggage of kama, krodha, lobha, moh, mad, matsarya, our material desires or anything. We have to leave everything behind. So that is what we are trying to purify.
Okay, okay, I got it. Okay. Also, like one last question. Like you were mentioning in the Bhakti Vriksha that we have to go through, like, the disciplic succession, like we have to go, like we have to reach Srimati Radharani and then reach Krishna. So are we like calling Radharani through Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, or like, I mean, like
Yes.
I just wanted to know.
So the meaning of Hare Krishna mantra. So what is Srila Prabhupada explaining is the meaning of Hare Krishna mantra is Hare refers to Radharani. Okay. That O energy of the Lord, O Supreme Lord, please engage me in your service. So this Hare Krishna mantra itself is calling to the Lord, to the internal potency of the Lord, please engage me in your service. So we are
Okay.
addressing to Srimati Radharani. Okay, so
Okay.
either as Radha Krishna, Sita Ram, Lakshmi Narayan. So the Lord is always accompanied by his energy, his feminine aspect, which is his internal potency. And through them only we can approach the Supreme Lord.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay, I think we'll stop here. Okay, everyone, thank you very much for joining. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Prabhuji. Thank you so
Hare
much, devotee. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.